Hey guys, Feeling Amir here, and in today's recipe video I'm going to show you how to make ghee, also known as clarified butter. It really is simple to make, and there are several ways that people make it, and this is the way that I've been making it for, I would say, close to 8 years now, and I like the texture and the taste of the ghee that I get from it. So let's get started and I will show you how to make ghee. First, let's talk about the very important ingredient in this, and that is butter. There are two types of butter. There's salted and unsalted. And honestly, as much as people tell you that you have to use unsalted butter, I'm going to tell you that you can use both. The difference is going to be texture and taste. Obviously, salted butter is going to make it taste salty, although some people do actually add salt to their ghee, so that's defeating the unsalted butter purpose. But not only that, the texture. Ghee made with salted butter will be a little more grainy. I would highly suggest you do both at some point just so you know the difference. I would also encourage you to make ghee out of the highest possible quality of butter that you can find. Like I said, I am using Kerrygold, which is a grass-fed butter, and you can see just how delicious and yellow this is. Ghee made with regular store-bought butter isn't going to be as golden and delicious colored as this one will be. And because I'm impatient, I'm going to cut mine up into pieces. And I'm just adding it into a stainless steel pan here. Now that my butter is all cut up, let's head over to the stove. Alright, so go ahead and turn your heat on to medium. So after only about 90 seconds, you're going to notice that most of your butter is actually already melted. Go ahead and stir it, that'll help it melt quicker. I don't know if you can see it on camera, but it's just starting to have little bubbles that are coming up through the surface. And now what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to turn our heat down to low. When you get to the point where all of your butter has completely melted and you have nice bubbles coming up like that, you don't want them to be too violent. If they are, go ahead and turn them down just a little bit. You might have to turn your stove down as low as it will possibly go. You're going to want to start your timer now. I would say go for 20 minutes to start with. You really don't have to keep an eye on it unless you want to. I know that the first couple of times I made ghee, I was kind of paranoid. You just want to ensure that it's not going to boil over, so that's why we use a large pot, and you want to make sure it doesn't burn by keeping the heat really low. I wanted to show you what it looks like halfway through. It's been 10 minutes so far, and you're going to notice on the top here that there are like floaty things basically. This is some milk solids. A lot of recipes that you see are going to tell you to skim this off, and if you want to or you're paranoid, you can totally do that. You just take a spoon and you scoop it off and you throw it in the trash basically. Although honestly, you can take that and then mix it into like bread recipes and it's delicious, but you know, do whatever you want with it. And then underneath, you really can't tell on the screen, but you're gonna see milk solids on the bottom. I choose not to skim the foam off because that's just an extra step that you don't honestly have to do. So I'm gonna go for another 10 minutes and I will be back. It has been 20 minutes and I don't know if you can hear it very well, but it is sizzling very nicely. Here's our ghee. It's slightly darkened in color, but it is by no means brown like you see some recipes. And the milk solids on the bottom are, I would say, golden yellow, but they're not burned. Now this step is totally optional, and if you like a grainy texture, and again, I would say compare this final product to regular butter in terms of smoothness, go ahead and add some water. Be careful when you do this. Make sure that your heat is on very low and stand back a little bit. This is very important. If you do this, make sure you have a large pan. Do not do this in a tiny pan. Just add a little bit of water and it's going to bubble up a lot. And then I stir. If it doesn't bubble up immediately and start to boil off, you need to go a little longer. Now, if you have had ghee before and you know that you like ghee with a very nutty, almost a roasty flavor, you're going to want to go anywhere between 5 to 15 more minutes after this, and it's totally just going to depend on what you like. I'm going to let mine go for about 2 to 5 more minutes, just long enough that I know all the water that I put in there is completely boiled off. It's been about 2 minutes, and you can see that it actually has darkened again in color, and you know what? I'm done. I think this is perfectly fine. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to stir it, turn off the heat. I'm going to move my camera and show you how I filter it and store it. So here is your final product. This is only cooled for about 5 minutes while I set up my camera. You're gonna want to have something to filter this with. I'm using a very fine mesh strainer. However, if you don't have this, you can use a coffee filter or some cheesecloth, or honestly, just a piece of paper towel in a funnel will work, guys. And here is why I don't think you need to scoop off the milk solids, because they just get caught anyways. They're not going into your final product. Pour it slowly and carefully because this is still hot. One last thing, as tempting as it might be to take your spoon and squidge it around to make sure that you get every last little bit of ghee out of this mixture, don't do it, because that's just gonna push your milk solids through the strainer. And there you go, guys. I'm gonna very carefully tip this so that you can see. There is your clear and beautiful ghee. Now, this does not need to be refrigerated like regular butter, believe it or not. And it has a delicious smell. It smells like slightly nutty and toasty butter. If you've never had it, I highly suggest you guys give it a try. And one of the amazing things about ghee is ghee has a very high smoke point. I believe it's like 500 degrees Fahrenheit or something like that. Don't quote me on that. But it really does help when you're cooking because you don't get that burned, gross flavor. So if you guys want detailed step-by-step instructions, visit the link in the description to go to my website, FeenLadyMirror.com, and give it a like if you like it. And if you make this, please let me know what you think and leave me a comment. Have a great day, guys. Bye. Unfortunately, I noticed after I was done that I let some milk solids get in, so I had to double strain it. So if you mess up like I did, don't worry, you can always fix it.